Hey guys, I got big problems with this Traeger Scout, and today we're going to find out if it's operator error or something worse. Alright guys, if you recall, I've had this Traeger Scout now here for probably about a year now, but I haven't really used it that much because I really intended to take it camping, and we just now recently started camping more. As you recall, last 4th of July we did some tri-tip and some dogs on this, and then just recently, a few weeks ago, we did another cook on this, and I was experiencing some pretty wild temperature fluctuations. It kind of had me bewildered. I know about the P settings, I know about using nice dry, good pellets, and all those other little tricks, but I just couldn't figure out what was going on. So after a conversation with Traeger customer support, even on a Sunday, that's when I called them, a Sunday, and let me tell you, the gal that I spoke with was very helpful. I'll flash the 1-800 number right here. They're open 7 days a week, pretty long hours, so you can call them anytime. If they're busy, they'll call you back. Okay, so as you recall, the last cook that I featured this Traeger Scout with, I had set it for 250, but the temperature spiked up well above 300, almost reaching actually it did reach 400 several times. It definitely had me concerned, but since I was really bringing up the internal temperature and I was going to sear it anyway, which was a tri-tip, it didn't really bother me that much, but I definitely needed to get to the bottom of it, and so that's what today is all about. Okay guys, the first thing I want to talk about are pellets. As you see here, there's a small little hopper on the side here. You always want to make sure that you're working with really nicely maintained pellets. You want to sift off any sawdust on there and make sure you store them inside in a low humidity environment. That's really important. I use one of these little airtight containers, and I keep it inside at an internal cabinet. Also, you want to make sure that you get up under here in the fire pot and you vacuum out any residue and get out any grease that might have accumulated since the last cook. And then of course you want to make sure you open up your favorite tasty beverage. Keep that handy, you're going to need it. Okay, so I'm not going to get into cleaning this out. It's pretty straightforward, very similar to other Traegers, and I'll put a card here to my last Traeger clean video here. Now again, last time I used this, we had some crazy temperature fluctuations. So this temperature probe right here, you want to make sure that's clean. Now I clean mine after every cook, okay, or before every cook. Obviously before the grease sets up, clean it before that and take care of it. Check for any loose wires, any looseness, make sure it's good to go. So the Scout owner's manual on page 13 for my model clearly states, with the door closed, turn the switch on and the temperature dial to smoke, and in about 2 minutes the pellets will ignite. Okay, so tech support told me differently. She recommended, actually she instructed, that we keep this door open for the first 2 minutes, allowing that combustion to occur, and once we've recognized the combustion, then close it down and set your desired temperature. So that's what we're going to do right now. We're going to keep that open, okay, and I got good power, I got good reliable power here, so let's go ahead and turn it to that smoke setting. There we go, and let's count 2 minutes. When you first open this up and power it on, your temperature reading here should be within 10 degrees of your outside air temperature, your ambient temperature, okay? That's really important, and that's why they recommend for the first 2 minutes to keep this open so that it knows what the ambient temperature is. Also, while you're cooking, keep this lid closed as much as possible. 2 or 3 times opening is the most they recommend, which makes sense because this temperature probe is way out in the open. If when you open this up and you're beyond 10 degrees reading to your outside ambient air temperature, then you got some issues and you may need a new controller. Now Traeger warranties their stuff for 3 years and they'll send you a new controller. No questions asked. Okay, there we go, we got smoke, so I'm going to shut it down. That was only 2.5 minutes, which is fine. And now I'm going to set for 250. Should blink 5 times at 250 and then go back to what the ambient inside temperature is, which is still reading about what it was because I just closed it down. But you're going to see this increase in temperature now. Another thing that the owner's manual recommends is from after the time you close the lid, if the grill hasn't achieved the set temperature after a full 10-minute preheat, you would turn the dial to the shutdown cycle, then back to the originally set temperature. And that's supposed to clear something, but let's see if we even need to do that. So again, we've got about another 7.5 minutes for it to settle out at 250. So it's definitely dropped down to 250, but below 250. All right, guys, if you see here, it's shot back up to 250 and gone over 250. Now it's shooting way up to above 300, which I believe is because it probably dropped a nice little chunk of pellets in there. So what I already did do is I went to the shutdown cycle and back to 250. Sorry, I'm gonna do that again. Wait that to set up. So what I'm going to do again is go to the shutdown cycle and right back to my set temperature, 250. Okay, according to tech support, that's supposed to affect some kind of reset. We'll see what happens. Again, I went back to the factory P setting of 2, so we'll see what happens now. So far, it's been about 15, maybe 17 minutes since I closed the lid. So it never really settled out to 250. So I've gone ahead and completed the shutdown cycle. I've verified that the P setting is 4, which is the factory default for a Traeger Scout. And now I'm going to deviate slightly. I'm going to do the whole startup with this lid closed and go right for 250 and do everything else the same. You know, the 10-minute wait before you go to shut down, back to 250, and see what happens. All right, guys, just want to point this out. It's spiking way up, man. It's like 5:30 now. You know, I've never even seen my my Traeger Little Tex Pro get that hot before. So on this startup, I basically let it cool down. I opened the lid. I went to smoke setting for 2 minutes. And look at that high temperature alarm right there on the spot. So basically I had kind of a runaway here. So I think what I'm going to do here, now I'm not cooking anything. I'm just going to go ahead and open it up. And open this thing up. Definitely had a high temperature alarm. That's what that is. You saw it before your very eyes. High temperature alarm. So I'm basically going to go down, turn this sucker off, and kind of assess the situation here. After a second phone call with customer service with Traeger, and by the way, these guys have an awesome customer service. They're manned 7 days a week during the day. They're out of Utah, I think. And they're very knowledgeable, and if the caller isn't that knowledgeable, they're going to find out the answer for you pretty quick. So it turns out it's a suspected controller. Okay, there it goes. It just shut down. I just put it in shutdown mode. So I don't even have the receipt. I didn't even have the serial number for them because I pulled that label off of it because I didn't want it near my food. So anyway, they are sending me a new controller. So should have it here in a week or so. We're gonna get you an update. As soon as I get that new controller, maybe show you how to swap it out, and then hopefully we stop having these crazy spikes. The last spike I had got up to 530 and it shuts down on its own, shuts down cold, and I had this smoking smoker, you know. I know smokers are supposed to smoke, but not because they get too hot. So again, folks, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed this video. If you have some time, hit the subscribe button down there and go into notifications and hit the notification bell so you guys don't miss a thing. So until next time, guys, see you later.